when you climb, like for anybody who climbs Mount Everest, don't you just like climb past like skeletal remains? Like
yeah, they leave the bodies. Yeah, you climb past them, and they're white because like they're basically just completely frozen solid, and it's just like a white piece of meat. And then the clothing is like ripped apart, so you can see the flesh underneath it. It's hard as a rock. It's like,
so what, it's frozen all year round. It never thaws.
Never thaws.
Wow.
Yeah, you're just up there frozen like a rock forever.
Yeah.
And they leave the bodies there because it's too dangerous to bring them back. Like there's a lot of people that are like, there's a dead guy that you pass by. I mean, these people that are up there doing it, like look at that guy.
Whoa.
Yeah, died.
There's 200 bodies up there.
Jesus.
At least. They don't know the official number.
Oh.
Over 300 people have died trying to do
Motherfucker.
it.
How many people die climbing Everest every year?
Over 300 total have died. So I don't know about every year. 311 is said. It's just said as the.
They die every year, though.
You know what's fascinating to me is how like deliberate people are to avoid contemplating their own mortality.
This is a weird one. The Everest one's a weird one. Because it's like, I mean, I admire people that want to take challenges on and do things that are very difficult, because I'm just guessing that the sense of accomplishment after you do it is probably pretty extraordinary. But on the other hand, like, fuck, man, you're passing by people who didn't make it.
Right.
You know, 2 climbers found a woman alone and dying, yelling, "Please don't leave me," but were forced to continue and let her die as they had no means to help her, and staying would risk their own lives. They felt so guilty, they spent years saving up enough money to finally return and give her a proper burial. Oh, my God.
So what made them able to hang out with her the second time?
Oh, my God. I know, right? Oh, hey, this is that lady that we didn't save. Fuck.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I read this story about this woman who climbed Mount Everest because she wanted to prove that being a vegan didn't make you weak, and she died. There's
nuts.
another one. Look at that body. Fuck that. Frozen, pale, white. Scroll back. The body was named Green Boots, perhaps the most well-known body on Everest. His real name was Swang Pajor. He died during the 1996 Mount Everest disaster. While descending from the summit, he was trapped in a blizzard and died due to exposure.
Is there another mountain that people die like crazy?
They die on K2. Yeah, K2 kills a lot of people. And then there's other mountains where like, that's one of the things they covered in The Alpinist, where like a quarter of the people who try to summit it die.
Man.
Yeah, these fucking people, man. They look at this. 29% fatality rate. More than a quarter. The main peak of Annapurna Massif is the most dangerous of the world's mountains, with a 29% fatality rate of everyone who tries to climb it. Since 1900, an estimated 244 expeditions have resulted in 72 deaths. Fuck. And the next most dangerous, Kangchenjunga,
with a slightly higher death rate.
29.1% death rate. Yes. Yeah, 29%. K2, almost as dangerous. Yeah. Everest, by contrast, is a 4% fatality rate. So Everest is for pussies.
That's why more people climb it.
Still 4%.
Yeah.
You go up with 100 people, 4 of them are going to die.
Right. I think that I think that so many people are just hyper focused on not like contemplating their mortality, that they fail to live deliberately, like while they're alive.
There's an argument for that. Yeah, there's people that don't want to take any risks at all.
Right.
I mean, listen, I certainly take risks.
I'm not suggesting that you should take risks or anything like that. I just think that by living with your blinders on, you know, like I have this theory that you know, particularly in Western civilization, like America, like where we live, like actually being old is like a fucking party foul. You know, people don't want to like. People want to take elderly folks and just shuttle them into a nursing home and not deal with them, not look at them. Like like old people serve as a reminder of your mortality, and it just bums people out. Like being old is a party foul.
Well, there's that, but there's also people can't take care of people. They don't have the ability. If you're working full time and you have a career and a family, and your father is unable to take care of himself anymore, you're left with a limited amount of options. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to abandon your life for the next 10 years so that you take care of this person 24 hours a day? Or are you going to put him in some sort of a medical facility? Right. But then the big fear is that he gets abused there. That is the saddest, scariest shit when you see those videos of people getting abused in nursing homes, like hidden camera footage of the last days of your life. Some young asshole is fucking smacking you in the head and shoving your face in food.
I haven't seen any of those videos. I'm glad I have
horrible.
Not.
They're horrible.
And maybe it's not about putting people in nursing homes, but I just think that there's a real, like living with the blinders on, like I don't want to think about it, la 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 la, and then you end up, you know, further down the road thinking like, oh man, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? As opposed to really like being deliberate and living the life you would want to have lived when it's coming to an end.
Well, I think it's also a learned thing to be able to take chances. And if you go through your life and you get to, maybe you have a family and your family is your mother and your father are averse to risks and they play everything safe, and then they drill it into your head to play it safe, and then all of a sudden you're 35, you don't know how to do anything risky.
Right.
This is like the life you've always lived. I mean, there's how many people that just live this sedentary lifestyle and they're just gelatinous blobs sitting in a chair every day and trying to avoid risk. And by the way, those are the people that freaked out the most when COVID came along.
Right.
Because they were really like genuinely vulnerable. Whereas, you know, if you're an athlete and you're relatively healthy, that was not something you were as terrified of. And those people got mad at those people that weren't terrified, because for them it was literally like there was a demon waiting to get them, because they were scared.